Hello, and welcome to episode 62 of Novel Knits. My name is Dehnel, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about what I'm knitting and what I'm reading. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm always really glad that you choose to spend any of your time with me. I've had a few new subscribers recently, so welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope that you enjoy chatting with me. And yeah, I'm gonna get into things pretty quickly today. If there's time at the end, I'll do a little personal chit chat, but I usually chit chat a little bit throughout while I'm talking about my projects anyway, so we'll just see how the time goes. I have a lot to share with you today. I think I have 6 finished objects and a lot of new cast-ons. It's gonna be a little sock heavy because that's been my happy place lately, but there's some other things too to chat about. And yeah, really quick before we get started, if you want to find me on Instagram, I am Dehnel_KP. And if you want to find me on Ravelry, I am Novel Knit Girl on Ravelry. Those are the basic 2 places that I'm active. And everything I talk about, including where you can find me, will be in the description below the video. So just check there for anything. I link to all my project pages on Ravelry, and I list all the books that I talk about. So if I talk too fast, if I stumble over my words, if you don't catch something, please check the notes or leave a comment. I'm always happy to respond to you. So let's get started. So my first finished object, I don't have to share with you, unfortunately. It is a pair of socks that I made for my friend Julie. Julie had a birthday in June, and in the last 3 years, I think I've made her a pair of birthday socks. And I started them on March 4th, and I finished them on August 18th. And her birthday was in June, so I missed her birthday, but I have finished them and I gifted them to her. So they're just a pair of plain vanilla 64 stitch socks on magic loop. The yarn I used was Nomadic Yarns Yak Sock in the color Your Hands Are Cold, and it is truly one of the most beautiful colors ever. So I will insert a picture of the socks here so you can see them. So yeah, those were finished in August and Julie was really happy with them. I like to knit socks for people that want them, and Julie definitely enjoys all of her socks. She is close to having a little sock drawer. We're working on it for her. All right, I'll talk about, I guess, the one that you can see next. I finished my Maven top by Rachael of Maven Crafted. I really like this a lot. So this is obviously a short sleeve like t-shirt. The yarn I used is Pearl Soho linen quill in the color Kettle Black. Yes, it is black, but there's a lot of variation. I'll get a little closer to the camera in a minute so you can see. There's some like white fibers in this, so it doesn't help a lot with knitting, but it does give it a nice texture. I made the size 3, and I started this on May 10th, and I finished it on September 26th. Fun story, I actually finished all the way through the body probably in July. No, it was August. And then I let it sit for 5 weeks. And then I had to just add that much to each sleeve. I finished it in like an hour. So yeah, this could have been done a lot sooner, but I'm really happy with it. It turned out great. So here, maybe you can see the yarn a little bit better, and it's got these pretty garter ridges in the pattern. Sorry, my lighting is not the best today. So yeah, and it's got this nice I-cord bind off, which is actually pretty roomy. I don't know that I have a ton to say about this. I really enjoy it in black a lot. I think because this pattern has a purl round that goes around, it does have you do a jogless method. I can't see any jogs. I don't know if it's because I did the jogless method great or because the black yarn just kind of hides it. I also lost my beginning of round at one point in time. My marker just slipped off my needle apparently when I was knitting. So then I just kind of guessed at my beginning of round. So there's probably for sure some wonkiness, but it's in the back and it's also black, so you really can't see it. And it fits me really nicely. It comes up right above, right, like my hip bone is right here, So this will be great with jeans. It'll be great with whatever. I'm wearing leggings today because I'm gonna go skate over my lunch hour. So, but I'm really, really happy with this. I think it turned out really nicely. And I think this will be a good kind of 3 seasons top for me, where I could wear it in a summer evening. If we were outside, I could wear it in the fall for sure. And I can wear it in the spring. So I can even wear it in the winter if I want, with like a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it. I don't know if I will, but I could. So I think this was a great piece for my wardrobe, and I really see myself wearing it. I really, really like it. Okay, moving on. I also finished my Hibernal socks. This is my second pair of Hibernal socks. This is a pattern by Summer Lee. The yarn I used is Creative Knitter in a one-of-a-kind green color. I started these April 14th of 2025 and finished them on August 28th, 2025. And these are 72 stitches, magic loop, and I made these for, these are my prayer socks that I started making for somebody. So instead of doing a prayer shawl, I am making socks, and I absolutely love these. I blocked them and everything because honestly, this yarn felt a little stiff and thick when I was working with it. And after I washed it, it's so soft. And the sizes for the Hibernal socks, if you haven't made them, you're supposed to go a little bit bigger so that they have a little looseness and slouch, because they're supposed to be cozy, Hibernal. And I just love them. I really want to keep them, but that would make me, I think, like the worst human being in the world if I made a pair of prayer socks for somebody and kept them for myself. So, but yeah, these are gorgeous, and I'm so happy. I did 72 stitches, like I said, heel flap and gusset. They're awesome. If you have not made the Hibernal socks, I highly recommend them. There's also a DK weight pattern, which I purchased, and I think I'm gonna make those soon because I just love, it's such a relaxing and fun pattern, and it looks so intricate. They're definitely one of my favorites, so very pleased with these. I am. So my next finished object is my next pair of Book Sock Club socks. If you're new, I am doing a very casual make along with Sophie of Cozy Meadow Knits. And we are basically knitting socks that match books that we are reading or books that we love. It is super casual. There's no, I don't see an end in sight. Sophie may have a different idea, but I have loved this so much and it's made me so happy. So the book that I chose this time around was The Favorites by Elaine Fargo. I read this book actually last year, and my mom had picked up a copy of it, I think probably in like an airport or something. And she was gonna put it, I have a little free library outside my house. I know those are pretty common in the US, but I don't know if they are outside of the US. So it's just a little like 2-shelf cabinet on a post in my front yard where I put books and other people take books and drop books in there, and it's fun. So she was gonna put this in the library. I was like, don't you dare. I am going to use that for my book socks, and I'm gonna keep this because I love this book. If you haven't read it, it's fantastic. It's about ice dancing. It's phenomenal. I recently listened to a podcast where the author was talking about the book. She is not a figure skater, but she did great research for this. There was only one moment in the book where I was like, oh, you're not a skater. But other than that, like, it was very, very well researched. She was right on. And it's just, it's dramatic and like almost too much, but like still perfect. I loved it. So here it is. And the socks that I made to go along with it are the Lakolk socks by Lotta Löthgren, I think. Yeah. And these socks, the pattern is in the 52 Weeks of Socks Volume 2. So it's in this book. I'm so excited. I finally made a pair of socks out of one of my knitting books because I have a lot of them. I don't use them for patterns very often, but here is the pattern in the book. These are great. It was exactly what I wanted. I have been a little overwhelmed lately in life. It happens. And I just needed something that was going to be easy. So this is a 66 stitch sock, which is a little different, but it's for the patterning. And if you look here, it is just, and I'm sorry, my lighting is a little funny. It's just slip stitches Knits and Pearls, and it is just so rhythmic and fun, and that is the name of the game for me sometimes. I just love something that's going to be rhythmic. So yes, again, 66 stitches, heel flap and gusset. I think one gusset I actually read the directions, the pattern directions, and the second one I didn't, and they both turned out fine. They're great. They match well, and they match my book really, really well. So I am so happy with this pairing. Everything about this was so fun. I originally had wanted something that had like more like, maybe like a cabling movement to make it look like edges on the ice, because this is a book about ice skating, but I just didn't have that in me at the time. And I honestly don't remember what this yarn is. I showed it a few episodes back when I purchased it from Etsy, but I didn't keep the tag, and apparently I did not list it in Ravelry, and I put all my yarn in Ravelry, so I'm really surprised that I didn't. But yeah, super happy with these. Awesome. Yeah. These are for me. I thought about giving them away, but I was like, I love them too much. They're for me. So, story of my life. That's why I have 70 pairs of socks in my sock drawer. Okay, let's do something that is not a sock. It's always exciting. I saw the Pierre skinny scarf by Stephen West pop on Ravelry one day, and I thought, that looks awesome. It's just a smaller scarf, and it's got some texture throughout, and you repeat the same stitches over and over in the same order. It was what my brain needed that wasn't a sock. So I found some mystery DK yarn in my house that's kind of like a purple color, and I had some Knit Picks Aloft in black, and I decided to hold them together. I didn't know if the black would take over, but it really didn't. I started this on September 4th and finished it on September 19th. So I probably picked it up 4 times and finished it. So here, oh, that's the wrong side. So here it is. So you can see you start on this end and you go through. And this is not perfect. In fact, somewhere around here, I flipped. Or is it? I showed you the wrong side. So this is the right side. So you start with like garter ridges, and then twisted rib, seat stitch, garter ridge, textured triangles. So you're doing basically the same things over and over again. And then I got to about here-ish, and I accidentally flipped it. So you'll see instead of garter ridges, I have kind of like this garter section. The ridges are actually on this side. I got to a point with this where I thought, well, that really bothers me that I made a mistake, but I'm not ripping out DK and mohair. I'm not doing that. Plus, when you wear a scarf, it's gonna go around my neck like this, and nobody is going to notice anything. I obviously love it. It's fantastic. This is my new favorite type of scarf, something that's a little bit smaller, doesn't take over your whole body, it doesn't take over your whole shoulder area, it's not going down and peeking out the bottom of your coat. Like, this is perfect. It's gonna do the job either on a cold day walking my dog or in an ice rink that gets chilly. Like, this is gonna keep me warm. And it's really pretty. The color, I don't know if you can really see, is really nice. It's like a very, yeah, it's deep grape color, and then the black just kind of makes it moody. I think it's great. It is, like I said, not perfect. I did block it, but I think when I mean, it's wonky. It just is, but it's a scarf and I'm really happy with it. So highly recommend. Maybe put a marker on the right side of your work so you don't do what I did, but it's a very minor mistake. And honestly, for what it is, it was always gonna be for me because I wanted this scarf. So, all right. And then my last finished object, finally in more ways than one. I completed the Mercury socks, I know you guys, by Kim Drotar. This is my longest sock whip. I started these socks on June 21st of 2023. and I finished them on September 25th of 2005. And I had one sock completed for 3 years and a little bit of the next sock completed. And it's, once I picked these up, they went so incredibly fast. So here is sock one. So yeah, this is a free pattern. So if you have ever wanted to make a pair of lace socks and you're like, looks complex, this is so easy. It is a 5-row repeat and only 2 of them are lace. I did a heel flap and gusset. This is 72 stitches, although these are gonna be for me. I normally don't make my socks 72 stitches, but I decided after I started these that I'm not giving lace socks away because I don't think other people want socks with holes in them. But yeah, these turned out so beautifully. And these are definitely the prettiest socks I've ever made in my entire life. The yarn is Vivid Yarn Studios in the color Cherie that I purchased probably in 2023. If I had to guess. And yeah, I know I made a few mistakes, but I cannot, especially in the second one, because I was knitting them like with dimmed lighting and I should not have done that. But I can't see the mistakes. I've actually looked for them and I can't see them at all. So mistakes are easily hidden and covered up, and yeah, these are great. So the yarn is so good. It's not really the stuff I normally gravitate to, but when I use it, it makes me so happy. And I think the yarn was half the reason why the second sock flew off the needles. Also, I would for sure make these socks again. Such an amazing pattern, and it's free. So check it out if you haven't. Okay, that is it for finished objects. That was a lot. I can put my sock blockers there because I might need them again. All right, gotta turn the page, take a sip of tea. Okay, so I have a lot of new cast-ons. In fact, I think everything that I'm going to show today is a new cast-on. All right, here we go. Okay, so I cast on a pair of vanilla socks. There were a pair of socks that came out by, I can't remember who. They were called the camp socks. Really adorable. And I looked at them and I looked at the price and I was like, I think I can kind of be inspired by that and do a vanilla sock. So that's what I decided to cast on. And instead of purchasing another pattern, because I have a lot of patterns. I have a lot of yarn and I have a lot of patterns. So I just decided to do a vanilla sock, and the camp socks had like this striped cuff. It looked like stockinette, and then a contrasting heel flap and gusset. I'm gonna do, I think, some other striping on the sole of the foot before I get to the toe, because honestly working with this dark yarn is not making me super happy. So the yarn that I'm using is Lamb Strings MCN sock yarn. The colors are Black Shuck and Victorian. I've had this in my stash for a really long time. So let me show you. Both gorgeous colors. The black has got like some maroon in there. And so pairing it with this Victorian was a choice, but a choice that I'm happy with. It's working really, really well. These are probably gonna be for my daughter Claire. Oh, I think I may have dropped a stitch. Yes, I did. Let me just grab that. I always make socks in this color for my daughter Claire. Well, not always, I should not say that. This is the second time I've paired these two colors for Claire. I love it for her for some reason, and I think it's really nice. So, not much to say. I'm making 64 stitches magic loop. I started these on August 28th. I think it was Susan of Mad Knitting. Yeah. Last year when her son was going away to college, she knit him some socks to send him off. And I'm kind of thinking the same for Claire. I think I'm gonna make her a couple pair of socks to send her off to school next year. She doesn't know where she's gonna go yet, and that's okay. We're still kind of waiting to hear from a few schools. In Wisconsin, where we live, there's a directed MIT program to, I think it's 9 UW schools, and that you just do, you just sign up for it and they look at your transcripts and then they either accept or deny you. And Claire did get into all of the schools through direct admit. So someone is going to take our money. And I think her plan is to stay close to home for a few years and then transfer. And she's thinking like transfer far. So I was like, okay, I think that's a good plan. Knowing her and knowing us and how we all work, none of us are quite ready for her to totally fly the nest. But the thing I keep remembering is healthy birds leave the nest. So she's still gonna live on campus wherever she ends up. And we're gonna help her, from afar, but let her kind of get her feet underneath her and then fly the nest when she's ready. So, but yeah, back to the socks. Here they are. I will fix those stitches that I dropped later because that's gonna bother me. And then I'll keep working on these. I think I'm gonna put some striping on the foot because as much as this is gorgeous, knitting in black, I know I did a whole sweater, but it seems harder for the sock. And this is probably my least favorite sock that I'm working on right now just because of the dark yarn. So I think because when I knit socks normally, I like to knit happy colors, case in point. So, but yes, there we go. That was a very rambly moment. I apologize. I have a senior and a freshman, so I'm deep in my parenting feelings this year, and I'm gonna try not to be ridiculous about it. Okay, then I have another pair of socks that are fantastic. These are the Mountain's Edge socks by Nancy Wheeler. I'm not as far on these as I would like to be, but I'm happy I started them. So when these socks came out, Nancy is Knit Sip Happy. She's got an awesome podcast. I knit most of her socks. In fact, she had some sock updates come through Ravelry yesterday, and I think I got an update for every single one of her socks. I think I've purchased almost every one of her socks. So anyway, when the Mountain's Edge socks came out, I don't remember what she had knit them for, but they weren't going to be available right away. And I sent her a message. I said, I cannot wait to cast those on. And she sent me a copy of it, and that was so nice. And I was just really, really busy at the time that she sent it, so I didn't cast them on immediately, but I have cast them on and I'm so happy. These are a cabled sock and they are just gorgeous. So this is gonna be the cabling that goes down the front. The back has just some knit and pearls on the side to give it a little bit of stretch. And yeah, this is such a pretty sock. I'm so excited to be working on it. The yarn I'm using is called Nudibranch from Long Dog Yarn. I think that's a Outlander reference, but I'm not sure. And it's just this gorgeous variegated blue yarn. And I've had this in my stash again for a really long time. Like, I'm getting to the point where I've been knitting long enough that I've had some stuff in my stash for 6 to 8 years. And this, I think, is right around then. This is pre-pandemic yarn. That's how we'll put that. So Brandy of Long Dog Yarn still does dye yarn, I checked, and she's got some gorgeous colors. So this is the yarn. I don't know if this is helpful, but yeah, so I'm really happy to be working on these. I started these on September 6th. I'm doing these 72 stitches, so they're gonna be for someone in my life that's got slightly larger feet, either my sister or one of my friends. So if you follow me on Instagram, every once in a while I'll post a story of me skating, and I have all of those stories saved as highlights. So if you're ever curious about me skating, you can check there on Instagram. And one of my we're not old, but our relationship is old, skating friends. We used to coach together like 20 years ago. We've been having lunch and she's been helping me get back into the figure skating world a little bit. And I asked her, I have one goal for skating, is that I would like to land a single axel again. If you watch figure skating on TV, women are doing double and triple axels, men are doing triple axels, and Ilya Malinin, who is the world champion, is doing a quadruple axel. And the reason that's a big deal is that's 4.5 rotations. So an axle you take off forward and you land backwards. So it's 1.5 rotations. I've landed all my other single jumps since I've been back skating. It's been very exciting, but I'm a little scared of the axle. And I did take a bad fall a couple weeks ago, not on an axle, but just skating. I fell so hard that my insides hurt and I thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital, but I'm okay. And don't yell at me. I've already had enough people in my life yell at me. I know I'm too old for that. But so I'm definitely scared. So my friend put me on the harness and I put a video of it on Instagram. And to say thank you to her, I've started making her a pair of socks. So that was a long story to get into these socks, but they're the Gravel Path socks by Twin Stitches Designs. If you watched my last episode, I just did a DK version of this pattern, and this is the fingering version. And don't tell me this is not the prettiest yarn you've ever seen. I am so in love. So who do you think? This is Nomadic Yarns. I think it's just her twisty sock base or trusty, but oh my God, so pretty. The color is Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm completely in love with the sock. I don't even know when I started it because this is the one I'm gravitating to because it's seed stitch and a couple slip stitches on the side, and it is just so pretty and I just love it so much. So yeah, so you can kind of see the detail on the side a little bit. The colors. When I purchased this yarn last year, I don't know why I didn't throw it on my needles right away. But I just love it. It like takes my breath away. I love it. So I think these are going to be beautiful socks for her. To say thank you, because she didn't let me pay her. So I owe her breakfast and a pair of socks, because I'm probably going to ask her to put me on the harness again. All right. And then let's move to something that's not a sock, a little break. I started a new sweater. So a little while ago, I had swatched for an all seasons sweater by Ozetta, or just a seasons sweater by Ozetta, I believe. And my swatch was a little off on gauge, and I'd done the collar and I let it sit for a few months, let it marinate while I kind of did some other things, all these socks. And then I picked it up and I just didn't feel it anymore. And I looked at the pattern and I was like, I don't think I want to do this right now. So that one is going to go back in my queue, and I decided I just needed something simple. And so I found the Easy Eyelet Yoke sweater by Knitatude, and I cast that on. So I'm using Lion Brand Wool Ease in the color Oxford Gray. It's a wool blend. I thought it was 100% wool, but it's not. So it's a wool blend, and this is just what I needed. It's exactly what I needed. So here it is. And I really like it. I am making the size 4, and I started this on, oh dear, where did I put it? Oh, I didn't write down when I started it. I started this a couple weeks ago, and I'm doing the size 4 because it calls for a bulky yarn, and this is worsted, and I wanted it to be big enough. I didn't want it to feel like it was gonna be too tight. I'm very into oversized sweaters at the moment. I have to work on that, but that's what makes me happy. And yeah, so you increase with eyelets, which is why it's called Easy Eyelet. And then it's just knitting. And sometimes I need just knitting. So I tried it on with these barber cords and it's gonna fit me. So yeah, I'm just in the point where I just knit until the body's done, and then I will do the sleeves. Hopefully it doesn't take me a month to pick up the sleeves again, because that was a tragedy with this sweater. But yeah, other than that, there's not a lot to say. It fit my mood for what I needed. I have a lot of other sweaters that I want to cast. In fact, I brought some yarn to talk about that at the end for what I want to cast on. But I'm gonna try not to cast anything else on until this is at least almost done, because I have a really bad habit of casting on sweaters, putting them in a corner and letting them sit for a year, 2 years. In fact, I've got 2 sweaters that have been doing that. And then by the time I go back to them, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And so then what's the point at that stage? I don't want to do that again. So I'm going to be very thoughtful this winter. Also, I've talked about this in the past. I'm going to US Figure Skating Nationals this year just as a spectator to watch. And I want to knit a couple things for wearing to the rink. So I don't have, like, because we have a lot of travel coming up this winter and I'm not gonna have a lot of extra money for outfits, but I already own all this yarn. So I'm going to try to make my outfits for the rink. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to, but I have a bad habit of not working on sweaters. I like socks a lot. I really enjoy knitting socks. So gotta work on that. Okay. That was another tangent. Okay, my next cast on was the heel toe do-si-do. I'm calling it my 2.0 because it's my second time using or knitting this pattern. It's a great pattern by Crazy Sock Lady Designs. And if you follow me on Instagram, again, that seems to be the story of this episode, you'll have seen, I posted a couple of pictures of these because when I first started using this yarn, my first thought was, oh my God, I hate this. I've never felt that way before. And so I posted it on Instagram because I was like, what do other people think? Like, I'm not sure that this is gonna work for me. And other people were like, oh, I really like it, I really like it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. And as I did a couple more repeats of this color situation, I was like, oh my gosh, I really do like this. So I'm glad that I didn't rip it out and go with my first instinct because I really love it. So the yarn, after giving it that wonderful intro, is Tia's Terrific Threads in her strong sock base, and it's called There's No Way. And I know why she said that, because it's like, there's no way these colors work, but it does. So I started these on August 29th, and here they are. So yeah, I love them. And I also think the heel toe do-si-do pattern for this yarn is excellent. And I'm super happy with it. I think if I had done black instead of red for the cuff, I would have been happier all around, but I'm gonna stick with red for the second sock as well. And then this is a stranded yarn studio, I think, just a mini, I have it in my lap. I purchased a rainbow blanket kit a long time ago and I decided I didn't want to make that. So now I just have like all these kind of half skeins of rainbow colors. So they're great for socks. And then, yeah, I think it's just such a harsh transition to go like from the grays and red into the black and pink, but I also sort of love it now. The black is Darkest Hour by Leading Men Fiber Arts. I did a Fish Lips Kiss Heel because I just couldn't be bothered to do anything else with black yarn. This one is kind of hard to see. And then, yeah, I just continued using the yarn for the toe. So yeah, I have not cast on for the second sock yet. These are going to be for my sister-in-law because I think she'll really appreciate the colors, and she's got a big birthday coming up this year, so I thought these could be great birthday socks for her. So I love them. But again, I think when I did this and then it was like, whoa, it is kind of shocking, but then once you get into it, I like it. It's not for everyone. And it was one of those things where sometimes you have to trust the process, and I did, and I'm really, really happy that I did. Okay, let's speed things up a little bit. All right, and then I cast on, so I went to Baltimore, Maryland for work in August. I went to a conference and I actually had to give a presentation in front of a whole room of people, and it was live streamed. So it was it was a big deal for me. I don't think I'm a terrible public speaker, but it takes a lot out of me. Like, that was very stressful. I didn't sleep for 3 nights before I presented. The presentation went great. I walked all around the inner harbor of Baltimore. I had a great time, had crab cakes, raw oysters. It was wonderful, especially after the presentation was done. And then I came back and I had to do the presentation again to internally to a bunch of people. So again, it's just kind of one of those things that takes a lot out of me, but it was a good experience. Anyway, all that to say, I wanted a DK weight yarn sock to work on while I was in my hotel room. And if you'll remember, I had started a, what's it called? Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli using these 2 yarns. And I love the pattern. I'm having trouble with yarn still, but these were the yarns. It's Hue Loco Glitz Sock, big sister, little sister, I'm not sure. It's a Grocery Girls inspired colorway. And I just thought, what if I knit a pair of socks holding these 2 together? Because I did not feel the contrast was high enough between these yarns for the Pure Joy shawl. You'll see it in a few minutes. And I also decided I'm kind of over speckled yarn for, I don't know, like this kind of crazy speckling for garments or shawls. I don't know. I just didn't feel like this was the look I really wanted for my Pure Joy. It wasn't bringing me pure joy. So I decided to cast on Thick Socks 3 More Ways by Dana Rae Makes. So basically this is a pattern that's got 3 different DK weight socks that you can make. And I didn't write down which one this is, but it's the only one that looks like this. And here it is. So this is holding the big sister and little sister together. And I am so happy with the result. So let me try to, that's what the patterning looks like. It's really nice. It's easy, rhythmic, always what I need. It's the yarn together. Oh, you can maybe see a little bit of the sparkle because of the sun. Yeah, the sparkle is not overwhelmingly so. It is very, very subtle, but I'm really happy with these. And if I focus on these, I can finish them by the next time we meet, but don't hold your breath for that, because these are good traveling socks and I've got a lot of trips coming up, so these may just wait until another trip. However, I may want to give these away for Christmas too, so they may jump up in the line. We'll see. It is fall, which means I start to think about all the people I should make socks for Christmas right now, when I have 3 months to go. Never a strong idea, but anyway. So yeah, these are awesome. And then there's 2 other patterns included. So I may or may not use the other patterns, but this one is great. All right, last work in progress. Oh, this has been a long one, sorry. I did recast on my Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. And I am using 2 skeins of yarn from Bird Street Yarn. The colors are Boathouse and Medici. I don't know if that's correct. It could be Boathouse and Medici, I'm not sure. Basically, beautiful mint blue, burgundy, coffee burgundy. In theory, I love this. I don't know if I like it in the shawl, so I definitely need some opinions. I need to know your thoughts. I mean, today I like it. Yesterday I did not. This is the Pure Joy. It's a joy to knit on. It truly is. It's awesome. Okay. So I'm still doing you do wrap and turns, which is how you make the wedges. I think the wedges get further apart the longer you go. Everybody, I feel, has made this shawl at some point in time, and everybody loves it. It is so fun to work on. I love it. I think I like this color. I mean, it doesn't have to be for me. You all know how I feel about stuff like that. I really don't wear shawls, so it shouldn't be for me. But then I think too, then, is it a good color to gift? So thoughts and opinions welcome. I'll probably keep going with this for a while. And then if I really decide I don't like it, then I'll change it. The other thing I thought is maybe switching the colors. Ooh, maybe that's what I should do. Do the burgundy as the main. Oh, maybe I'll do that. All right. Let me know your thoughts about that. I think I might do that. I think I might switch the colors. Okay, so Pure Joy still happening. I just haven't quite figured out all of the yarns yet. Who knew it was gonna be this difficult? Oh, okay. So I have a few more things to talk about in terms of yarn, and then we will move on to book club, which will be short today. If you're not normally a book club person, but have some interest. It'll be short today. All right, so my next book Socks Club books. All right, so my next Book Socks Club socks, I did make a purchase from Ashley of Nomadic Yarns because I am a super fan. She does not know I endorse her this much, but here we go. Sophie is so good about matching variegated yarns to her book covers, and I'm just like, give me the stripes. So this is Tweedy yarn, and it's Beach Read is the color, which Beach Read is an Emily Henry book. So this is gonna be my next combination. I love the self-striping, I can't help it. And when Ashley is already doing this for me with an author that I enjoy a lot, why not? So I also did purchase the book. I've listened to it on Audible twice. I'll put this in my little free library when maybe I'll reread it. Maybe I'll read it and then put it in my free library, or I'll just put a brand new book in there. No big deal, but I needed it for the photos anyway. So this is gonna be my next cast on once I finish a sock and I have a sock needle free. That's my new sort of, I wouldn't call it a fatal flaw. I wouldn't even call it a flaw necessarily, but when I finish a pair of socks, I immediately take that needle and cast something else on. I give it no breaks. My sock needles get no breaks at all. I talked a little bit earlier about that I want to cast on a bunch of sweaters, and that's totally true. I just don't want them to get abandoned later on. So I have yarn for 3 sweaters that I would like to cast on soon. One is the Salty Days sweater. I don't remember the designer off the top of my head, but I bought the exact yarn that they used, which is Sandusgarn Double Sunday, and then Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. So I want to cast that on this fall for sure. I think that'll work with my skin tone. I hope so. And then there's a He Locatelli pattern called Mabel, which is fingering weight, which I thought would be good for traveling. And it's kind of like a waffle stitch, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. And so I have this Sonder yarn Sunday morning 4-ply BFL Masham yarn, and the color is Bear Hug. And I purchased this in the last fall, I think, or last winter maybe, but I really, really love this. It's a great brown. That'll look nice with my skin tone for sure. And then there is the Author cardigan by Jared Flood, and I purchased this Harrisville Designs Daylights in Bloodshot, and I really want to start that as well. And then another, and this is I think a little bit softer than the Nightshades. I'm really excited to try this out. And then I also, for a 4th sweater, this one may have to wait till the new year, but I also would like to make the Alias cardigan by Isabel Kramer with some Lolo Did It Whole Lot of DK that I started to make I purchased to make a test knit cardigan a few seasons ago that did not work out for me. And I think this would be a beautiful cardigan in that color. So that's what I'm thinking about for future cast-ons. Plus, I still have almost everything else on the needles that you've seen in the past. So yeah, I always have about 20 projects going. That's my fatal flaw. Okay, so that is it. If you're only here for the yarn stuff and the knitting, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you next time. Let me know what you're knitting in the comments. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on my pure joy, please share them. All right, and then I'm gonna get into book club really quickly. To be perfectly honest, I don't remember a lot of these books. In the long time I've been away, I've only finished 10 books. And for me, that's not very many. I have a goal to read 100 books this year, and I'm on 60 and it's October. So we may not make our goal this year. It's okay. There are worse things that can happen. So I finished The Story Collector by Evie Woods. I gave that 3 stars. I didn't love it. My mom read the book after me and she enjoyed it much more so than I did. I just felt that there were I didn't love the 2 side-by-side stories, And I really struggled with the narrator being American when she sounded very, very British. So that was me. Doesn't mean I'm right, it just means that's my opinion on it. I also finished Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave that 4 stars. I thought it was lovely. I thought that the writing was spectacular. The research was spectacular. The storyline was like not my favorite, but I did really like it, and I thought it was worth reading. It reminded me a lot of Lessons in Chemistry, but I liked Lessons in Chemistry much, much more. Then I read The Idaho 4, An American Tragedy by James Patterson. I gave that 4 stars. I was reading a lot of romancy things, and I just kind of thought maybe reading something nonfiction would help, and gosh, that's sad. But it was, again, well presented, well researched, very respectful, and I would recommend it if you're interested at all. Then I read, and I have to say, when I'm feeling stressed out, my comfort reads are contemporary romances. If you've been here for a while, you know that. So here's my little contemporary romance train that is gonna bring us to present day, I think. So I read Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren, and I gave that 4 stars. It is a little retelling of Tangled, the movie, or Rapunzel, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. Christina Lauren, I think it's 2 writers that write together, and I find that really interesting and I enjoy it. So I have a couple of their books that are going to be on this list, and I think that I still have. Some of them get a little spicy. This one was really nice though, from what I remember. Then I read My Killer Vacation by Tess Bailey. I gave that 3 stars. It was fine. Person goes to like an Airbnb and there's a dead body in the house, and I don't remember much after that, but it was pretty good. And then I read Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver, 4 stars. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th time I've read it. It's not for everybody, but I love it. It's like a little gross, a lot spicy, but like there's something about the characters and the way she writes is very clever and very smart and very endearing, and I just enjoy it. So that was my comfort read in here for sure. Then I read One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I give that 3 stars. I don't really remember it, but it was fine. Then I read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. I did not like this one as much. I gave it 3 stars. I don't remember it at all. In 5 Years by Rebecca Cyril. I give that 3 stars. I actually did enjoy it because it wasn't what I thought. I thought I was getting into a contemporary romance, and it was a bit, it threw me for a loop, which I appreciated. So the premise was a woman falls asleep next to her fiance and wakes up in 5 years in the future laying next to somebody else. And she realizes she's got a deep connection with this person, and then I think she goes to bed after spending the day, and then she wakes up back in the past. And so it turns into like, who is this person? Is this, what's going on? Am I in the right situation? And it is a love story, but a different kind of love story. And it's more of a friendship love story. And when she meets that person from the future, like, it's just different. It was good, and I almost ruined it, but it was worth reading if you want something that's just a little bit different, but still contemporary-ish, romancy. And then I read The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. I gave it 3 stars. It was a hockey romance. I don't know how these keep finding me, I mean, let's be honest, I'm the one that finds them. But I will say, in my defense, when you read a certain type of book, that's what gets recommended to you. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. Pretty spicy. And I don't remember if some of the other ones were or not, but I'm at a phase in my life where I can take or leave spice. If it's not gross or over the top, I can pretty much handle it. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, no, that's not for me. Like 50 Shades of Grey, never. But like some other stuff, I'm like, all right, if it goes with the story, I'm fine. So currently I am reading Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, and I'm getting close to the end. It's not bad. This one the plot kind of has me perplexed. It just doesn't seem that interesting. It's fine. I'm not enjoying it. It'll be a 3-star book. I definitely am reading it and it's fine. It's about a woman who, all of Carly Fortune's book, I think they take place in Canada, I think near Prince Edward Island. So in this one, it has two timelines, which again, I don't always like that, but these two people, a man and a woman, met when they were like young adults, and then they were supposed to meet a year later. He didn't show up, and now her mother's died. She's back at the summer resort that the family runs, and she's gonna run the resort, and he's coming in as a consultant to help her. And you know, it's sort of, why did you leave? And why didn't you meet me? That kind of thing. So obviously they're very in love right now. So we'll see what happens. All right, and then I'm also listening to The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich, and this I'm enjoying a lot. It's about grief for sure. So takes place in contemporary times, but there is a place in California that people can go to sleep if they're struggling to get over grief, loss of a relationship, loss of a loved one, and they can go to the poppy fields and sleep. And so it's interesting because it bounces between a lot of different points of view. And there's this group of people that I believe were in Missouri, and a storm hit and they weren't able to take their flight. So they're kind of traveling together and sharing their stories as they go. And it's really a nice book. It's really what I need to get me out of contemporary romances for a while, but I'm enjoying it and I would recommend it. So, although I haven't gotten to the end, I think I have about 2.5 hours left. So I may change my opinion, we'll see. I'll definitely let you know next time. So that's all I have. If you have any great books that you've read lately, please share titles with me. I need to get out of the contemporary romance space. I get caught in there sometimes and I need to find my way out. Yeah, and I definitely have been, when I'm stressed out, I definitely go for things that bring me comfort. And for some reason, people falling in love brings me comfort. So yeah, but if you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments below. I'm always looking for book suggestions. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I always appreciate you hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. I'll try to get on definitely as much as I can until Claire is done with her dance season. So until next time, happy knitting, and I'll see you later. Bye.